In the text category, we have more than only text. We have chars or characters as well. And they kind of work together hand in hand. The thing is, let's take a look at the output from, let's say, the serial terminal. The output of serial terminal is both binary or characters. And several characters make one text. But there's one thing that's a bit confusing with the serial output from the serial terminal, and that is how the value looks when you type the whole word and press enter. Let's take a look over here. I'm gonna connect just between the output to the input and upload the code. Alright, if I just type any text here, just test, it all shows just like you expect it would. But if I use some other components, let's say compare text, and I take it over there, and the property I set it to test, so it's gonna look for the word test, and if it finds it, if it's equal to test, it's gonna send a true out like this. Alright, disconnect that one, upload the code. And it's uploaded. Just gonna connect and just type anything here. False. Okay, it's false. It doesn't find the word test. It's alright, that's cool. And then I type test and nothing happens. Alright, why doesn't it happen? Because I typed it, everything alright, it matches, it should be turning to true, but here comes the mystery. What actually happens is, let's take another component, formatted text. What actually happens is it's gonna send one character at a time. It's not gonna send it as a whole text, only one character at a time. So if I take that text output, character output, and take it to the text element on a formatted text, and output that back to the serial in, and we're gonna take a look at how that looks. Alright, and connect. I'm gonna type anything, blah blah blah. Now you see the problem. If I type test is the thing it should have matched. It's gonna type it out as one character at a time. So first it's gonna take a compare on the T. Does T equals test? No, it doesn't. It's just T. So it's never gonna match as long as it's gonna print it out at one line at a time. So what you need to do in these circumstances, this is a very common problem. You don't see why it doesn't match. It just doesn't. So what you need to do is to make it one whole text. Char to text. Okay. Now it's gonna convert from character. We're gonna keep the same type of output into the input of the char to text, and take the output from that one to the text element on the formatted text. And connect. We're just gonna type something. Test. Okay, it's all in one word now. So what it does is keep looking for a new character till it's all done, and then combine those characters to one word and send it through to whatever component you have connected it to. So now if I just connect it to the compare value and output, like that, it's gonna disconnect this one. Connecting, and type out something false, and type out something more, nothing happens, because it's still false. It's not going to send false several times. It's only going to send a new value as soon as it's changed. So then I'm going to type test, and it's true, and type something else, and it's false. So now everything works. That could be an issue for you when you're using the serial terminal output. Just keep in mind, use the char to text as soon as you're gonna process the text in some way. Let's see what more we have in the text department. We have ignore values. Like it's gonna ignore everything as long as it's not changed. It's not in ignore values, it's just change only. So as long as it pushes some new value, it's gonna ignore it. Sorry, as soon as it's gonna push the same value, it's just gonna drop it and ignore it. As soon as it comes a new value, it's gonna let it through. So it's kinda you know what I mean. It's kinda self-explanatory or something. Let's see, we have char value. You recognize the green arrow, and you have different type of convert, text to integer, text to char, char to text, from upper to lowercase, and lower to, no, other way around, the way around, text to lowercase. It's a lot of different components. Most of them is quite self-explanatory. The thing that could be very useful, but as well as a bit confusing, is the how to take out some text, use some text, crop out some text and stuff like that. These three, along with these three, is very useful when processing a big chunk of text and you only want to look for one specific word, for example. That's very useful. That's a whole other chapter to know how that works, but it's useful. Compare text, you saw that earlier. Text snapshots. All the snapshots works like this. It's gonna keep the value that it's got over here, and it's not gonna send anything through until it gets a snapshot. So you can feed values over here all the time, but when you send a clock signal to the snapshot, then it's gonna send out a value. That could be useful if you want to limit what values comes through and what doesn't come through. You have these ones are quite cool. JSON, we're gonna take just simple JSON and split. Alright, these ones, that was wrong. Let's see, make JSON and split JSON. These two are very useful when sending a lot of different type of values over one packet or one transmission. So if you're using Wi-Fi and different sockets to move a value from one unit to another, this is a very useful thing. You can add those components that you like to send, and as long as you do it matches the same name and same order, it's gonna move and show up on the other side. Integer, analog, and text. So if I take the text output over here and connect these ones over there and take out, extract the value again, remove these ones, Alright, uploaded. Now this one is gonna be on the receiving end. So if, let's say you have two Arduinos and they're connected together over serial or Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or, you know, this one is gonna be on the receiving end and this one is gonna be on the transmitting end. So this is just for debugging or demoing purposes. So if I connect now, it's gonna take this value and send it over here and take it back into the serial terminal. And as you see, it's gonna send the same value over and over and over again. And there's a tick box over here, only modified. So if you tick this one, it's only gonna send over a new value as soon as it's got some sort of change. So it doesn't have to send it all over again. Either you use that one, only modify, or you use a clock. So how to use a clock when you're feeding a value? In this case I'm gonna use the texts, for example. And let's take the multi-source. We looked at it earlier and we're gonna use this in a way I really like. And that is to make it as a clock as well as it's gonna process the values and the value. So here I send the value, but it's not gonna go over the line to the split JSON until it gets a clock. So then I'm gonna use its second output here as a clock. So now I think it should work. Probably not gonna work because I'm just demoing, but it should work. Alright, connecting. And only one value. If I type test again, it's gonna send the same value again. But if you had this tick box to set to true, it's not gonna send it twice. It's only gonna send it once. Even if I have a clock, it should not send it. So every time I send something now, it's gonna transmit it. And that's because of the clock. In the next part we're going to talk about make and split structure, and we're going to continue with the text category and walk through a little bit in the digital category and about sequencing. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you in the next part.